Well, I'm in a work truck. I'm not in the office today. I think it's gonna be a good day today. Oh yeah, got a nice little job to do back there. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. I hope you're having a great day today. And I'm out here at a customer's yard. Been doing this guy's yard for years and years. He sold that property, bought a new place in town. But back here, he kind of opened this area up, put new plants in, retaining wall, a really cool little patio right here. Man, I like this right here. Matter of fact, watch this. Oh yeah. Let's change up the view a little bit. This would be an exceptional spot to come out early in the morning and take my Bible and read a little reading right here. Holy cow, late in the afternoon. It's kind of quiet right here. Okay, so I'm gonna sit there and go to sleep if I don't quit. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna sow the fescue. I tried my best to talk him into Kentucky bluegrass. I don't think he wanted to do the, a little more maintenance involved with that. He didn't want to go that route, so we're gonna go all turf type tall fescue, GCI fescue. I'm gonna bring the ABI force out here. It's a perfect spot for that. Small. I don't need a really big piece of machinery to bring in here, and it's nimble and tiny. I can get in here and kind of really fine tune this grade and get it perfectly on par for him and smoothed out. Then I got me a landscape rake, touch up the corners and that kind of thing. I'm gonna put my grass seed down. Then I'm gonna take a slit seeder, my stinger, and just ride over the place and groove the seed in. I've never been a big fan of using the actual slit seeder to drop the grass seed as I'm using the machine. I feel like it's easy to miss spots and overlap too much. So I just take the spreader, spread the grass seed out evenly like I would with any other seeding job, and then use the disc on the slit seeder as a tool or a way to incorporate the seed into the top quarter, half inch of ground. And that way my seed's already spread evenly. I'm just taking the machine and grooving it in is all I'm doing. And earlier today, before I left the shop, I mixed me up a little potion of green pop, tenacity, and RGS. I'm putting the green pop is going to be my phosphorus and some humic, and that'll help get the roots going good. And then the RGS is a little bit more for pushing roots and growth. And then the green pop also has a little bit of nitrogen in it. And then the RGS, that's another humic and fulvic kelp root driver mix. And then the tenacity will give me a little bit of weed protection. Because I have no clue what's in this dirt. It's a top soil, but literally have no clue what's in the dirt. So we'll see what comes up once we start putting water on it. And our goal is to have all fescue, all grass seed come up. But a chance that you take when you bring in a foreign material, which in this case it's a dirt from somewhere else. We just don't know what's in the dirt. You just don't. So it's a chance you take, and you have to, if something weird comes up, if it's got Bermuda in the dirt, runners and stolons, or It could have poatrivialis seed, poannual seed, it could have clover seed, it could have whatever in it. And then of course you have to manage that after the fact. But anyway, let's get to work. Enough talking, right? So I guess where they brought in the dirt with a skid steer or bobcat or whatever, they really compacted this ground. It was absolutely hard as a brick. So first thing I had to do was decompact it. And I used the rippers on the ABI force in combination with the comb behind it. And what that did is that really buries down 6 or 8 inches deep and really decompacts this ground. And you pull up a lot of clods and that kind of thing, but the comb on the ABI, the way it's built, the comb kind of comes right behind it, busts up the clods, and leaves a nice, smooth, finished grade. I absolutely love that aspect of that machine. Now, in the process of all that, I had a few high spots and a few low spots, and of course, the machine's designed to cut the high spots down and fill in the low spots. And of course, that leaves them with a really nice, smooth yard. Now, what I had to do is do a little bit of backfilling around the patio. It was about 1 inch low in spots, and I simply backed up and pulled some dirt up there and took the force and knocked the hump down. And of course, some of that fine detail work, I went back with a rake, cleaned it up, got it nice and smooth. That way the homeowner has a really nice smooth transition from the patio to the yard. Once my grading was done, I had everything smoothed out like I wanted it, and I was satisfied with it. I actually had the homeowner come out and take a look and say, hey, what do you think? And he was well pleased, so it was time to put the grass seed down. I always like to use a drop spreader around the edges. That way that creates that nice, crisp, clean, defined line between my grass and the mulch. Something else it does is it keeps that grass seed out of the beds. And you know, that can be a pain in the butt having to go back and pull that stuff out. So once I got my edges down, I took my old Lesco and just done the fat part of the yard, the bulk part of the yard, and broadcast the seed. I put down 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Once I had my seed nice and evened out, spread out like I wanted it, I took my slit seeder. Some people might refer to it as a slice seeder. I took the machine, went over the entire yard, went around my edges, and grooved that seed in. And basically what that's going to do is those discs are going to cut grooves in the ground. You can determine the depth. And I go between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. Kind of buries the grass seed in the ground. And of course, this is turf type tall fescue, so you can do that. Seeds like Bermuda grass seed, you don't want to do that. You want to leave that seed on top of the ground. But with fescue, it's ideal to cover it with dirt a little bit. Yeah, I could have brought some peat moss out here and put over it, but it was just as easy in this situation to take the slit seeder or the slice seeder and groove it in the ground. And that way I use the existing dirt to cover the seed. Now once all my grass seed was down, I grabbed my flow zone. The Typhoon just so happened to be the closest to me when I left the office. So I grabbed that one. I had my green pop, my RGS, and my tenacity all mixed up in one solution. And the way I have my nozzle set up on this, I run it on pressure setting number 1. I flip the nozzle upside down. I use that for my trim pass around all my edging. Then I simply flipped the nozzle around, bumped it up to pressure setting number 3, and sprayed the fat part of the yard. So hey, I realize spring seeding isn't ideal. I mean, heck, we're late spring right now. It's we're first week of May. And but you know, like I said, this guy, he's been a customer of mine for a long time, and we used to do his house across town, and he bought this new home. And they done some work back here in the backyard. All this was a big hole, and like I said, they built that retaining wall and raised all this up to make the space usable. And of course, you don't want to look at this all summer. I mean, you know, it is what it is. So, and he's well aware that, hey, this could come in and it could pop and it could do just great. And then again, it may not do so great. But of course, he's on one of our lawn care programs where we aerate and seed every fall. So, you know, by chance, if this don't do all that great this time right now in the spring, of course, we'll get him fixed up in the fall, no problem. But the big advantage he has is he has irrigation, and they put that in when they were doing all the groundwork. So, you know, I don't see any reason why it won't do great. Might have to deal with a few weeds and that kind of thing down the road, but that ain't no big deal. We use good herbicides, and even though I put the tenacity down, I'm using that tenacity as a pre-emergent on bare ground. And you know, I never apply tenacity over top of grass. I never do. It's a big time no-no for me. I know tons of people that do it, and I also know tons of people that email me saying, hey, what's wrong with my grass? It was looking so good and now it's freaking dead. And what happens is these cats on YouTube tell you to use tenacity for any and everything. It's a specialty herbicide, needs to be used in special situations. In my opinion, it is not the herbicide that's like a one-stop shop, okay? Pre-emergent, post-emergent activity, both. I personally use it on bare ground renovation only. I do not use it over top of existing grass because it's a very strong herbicide, and just like in many emails I've gotten over the past 2 years, it gets over applied in the slightest bit of way and it fries the turf, smokes it. Now of course there's situations where if it's applied right, you know, there's no issue whatsoever. Side effect of it is it bleaches out the turf a little bit. I'm expecting when this comes up, it'll look a little white in spots and things like that. That'll go away. But when you use it as your predominant weed control and you're constantly applying it to existing grass, it's rough on the turf. You need to know that. And I've got dozens of emails to prove it, that when it's not applied just right, you can do damage to your grass. So I hope this has helped. This is, like I said, you know, not ideal doing it in spring, but it's kind of one of them things you got to do. So we'll come back in about a month, 6 weeks or so, let it come up, let him mow it a few times, and we'll put eyes on it, see how it looks, and maybe monitor it a little bit through the year. If I get to come on this side of town, I'll try to have my camera with me and give you some updates on it throughout the year, and we'll see how it does. Say, I want to thank the homeowner here. They were very gracious and very kind, allowed me to bring my camera out here and film their backyard and film this job. So Jay, I appreciate that quite a bit. And again, there you go, springtime seeding. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I'll check you later. So pro guys, here's a little thing. A lot of you already know this, but I'm gonna share it anyway. This is where I had the ABI setting and where I changed out the box blade and that kind of thing. You can see it gouged up as a rock and kind of jacked it up right in here. Always leave the property better than you found it when you exit the job, out of simple respect for the property owner. No other reason. I feel like that's better than it was when I got here. Check you later.